are live. We are live. We are live. And good evening, everyone. Happy, I believe it's Tuesday, because sometimes the days kind of seem to run into each other. And I am super excited about what we are going to talk about this evening. So before we get started, y'all know what to do. If you're ready to level up, I want to see level up or say the words me in the comments. And as you're logging on, we certainly want to know where you're logging in from. What city, what state, what country are you logging in from? Let me know now. Listen, as we're getting ready to get started, we are actually live on Instagram. We are live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. What I need you to do is I need you to go grab somebody. I need you to tag. I need you to share. And if you love someone, if you got somebody in your family or a loved one that is always in pain, right? I see you from Canada. Hello, Canada. If you know someone who's always in pain, if you know someone who has high anxiety, if you know someone that has trouble sleeping, I see you, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I see you, Atlanta, Georgia. I'm in Georgia. I see you, Indian Wells. I see you, Louisiana, Fort Worth, Texas. Hello, James. Hello to you all. Hello, Los Angeles, California. I see you from the D, right? You can't hear me? Oh, no, you can't. Can you hear me now? I'm sorry, y'all couldn't hear me. Can you hear me now? I know you could see the words on the screen, but you couldn't hear me. For those of you that are on, I see Hemingway, South Carolina, Jackson, Florida. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Canada, Austell, Georgia, Austin, Texas. I need everybody that's on here right now to take this link and share it with somebody. Tag somebody to this live. Albany, Georgia, I see you. I see you. On Instagram, they couldn't hear me, but I believe that they can hear me now. And listen, what I need you to do again is if you know somebody, Newfoundland, Canada, if you know somebody who's always in pain, who can't sleep, who's got anxiety, right? Maybe they've got some skin issues. They're low energy. Maybe they're struggling with depression or sadness or grief. Maybe they need to boost their metabolism. If I need you to think about all of those things, and I need you, if you have somebody who has poor stability, poor balance, poor mobility, I need you to tag them to this live right now. If you know someone with skin, I need you to tag them to this live right now, right? If you know someone with skin, tag them to this live right now. So that should be, everybody should be tagging like a lot of people right now, because if you know someone with skin, tag them right now. So this, tonight the doctors are weighing in, and not only are our doctors weighing in this evening, but we even have a registered nurse that is joining us this evening. All right. And so the doctors are going to weigh in. Is Superpatch a scam? Is Superpatch a scam? And we're going to have some fun tonight as I'm bringing up the doctors are in the house. We've got Dr. Tamara Dunn out of Flint, Michigan. We've got the one and only Dr. Nicole Bramwell out of Apopka, Florida. And then we have a registered nurse out of South Alabama, Janet Baker, who is joining us. She is the owner of the Energy. Am I saying that right? Energy.
Yes.
Energy Wellness Spa, and she's in South Alabama. I didn't even know there was a South Alabama until we got on the stream with Janet Baker. So hello, ladies. Why don't you one by one introduce yourself? So let's start with Janet, then we'll go to Dr. Dunn, and then we'll go to Dr. Bramwell. Go ahead and tell everybody who you are. I told them where you're from, but tell them a little bit about who you are and what you do.
I am a registered nurse, and I have a wellness clinic, and we look for root cause of illness. And thanks to these patches, we're able to help them before we really get to the root cause. So it's been a lot of fun. We love the patches.
Wow. Now, and I know how you found out about the patches, but we're gonna talk about that a little bit later. In our show. Look, in our show, I feel like we're on a broadcast. Dr. Dunn, you're next up. Tell everybody who you are. How long have you been a doctor? Let's talk about it.
Hello, everybody. So happy to be here. I am from Flint, Michigan, born and raised. I have been in the medical profession for, I think, 18 years now. So I am an optometrist. Went to high school, went to college, actually got my doctorate in optometry degree. So I'm a real doctor. But I found myself in a different type of industry to help people. And it's so much we're going to get into, so I don't want to get into it now, but just say I'm loving it.
All right, and then we've got Dr. Nicole Bramwell. And I believe that we'll have Dr. Sherelle before we're over, but we've got Dr. Bramwell. Come on, let's talk about it. Where are you from? What do you do? Drum roll. We can't hear. There you go.
There I go. So not so much sunny these days, but I'm from in Florida. I am not originally from Florida, Brooklyn, born, and they grew up in Florida in Daytona Beach. But I am a medical doctor. I've been a medical doctor for 31 years. Wanted to be a doctor since I was 8 years old, and it's been great being a doctor. But let me tell you, in the last 12 years, while I've been doing weight management under my healthy curves, let me tell you what. Well, I don't even want to talk about it, but this is really, really special. We're going to burst your bubble about that title. But yeah, I'm just loving helping people, and I'm glad to be here to share this with these lovely ladies.
And I think we've got Dr. Sherelle Lawrence in the house. Sherelle, are you there? We can't see you, but we do see that you've joined us in the studio, but we don't see you on camera. Dr. Sherelle?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's dark and I'm driving.
Oh, and it's
Can you hear
really
me?
bad. It's real. Your reception is really bad. You want to wait until you get in? I'm sure we'll still be live.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure. I
Okay.
can
Yeah,
do.
her signal is super bad. All right, y'all. So listen, one of the things that I want to talk about, because I know that the title has everybody like it's Superpatch A Scam, and we got the doctors and we've got, people with degrees, that have studied to be in the medical profession on the line. And I wanted people from all types of wellness, sectors. But why did you become a doctor? Dr. Dunn, Dr. Bramwell, and then Janet Baker. Why did you become a registered nurse? I want you all to answer that question before we actually start talking about what we're going to talk about.
So I actually was 12 years old when I decided that I wanted to be an optometrist. I actually was in school in my health class, and we were going through, you can go through the eye parts and all of that, right? But at the time, I actually was very blurry. I wasn't wearing glasses at the time. And back in the day, your parents think all kids are perfect, right? They don't think that you can't see at 12 years old. And I actually went to the eye doctor, got my eyes checked, and it was cool. But when I got my glasses and I put them on, I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, I can do this for people. So that is when I decided that I wanted to become an eye doctor. I just wanted to give people sight. Like, I was so blurry, guys, like so blurry.
Wow.
And when I got my first pair of glasses, I said, this is life changing. So that's what I wanted to do for people. So that's why I got started.
Wow. Janet, why did you become a registered nurse? Because a lot of people become like health aides, and then they will become even an LPN. But you went for the gusto, and I heard that test is not very easy either to become a registered nurse. But why did you become a registered nurse?
My grandmother was a nurse, and I knew from a very young age that I wanted to be like her. So I did not go back to school until I was in my mid 30s, though. And I had the opportunity to go back, and I loved it. And yeah, it took me a while, but it's definitely been a dream of mine. I've been a nurse now for 30 years.
Wow. Wow. All right. Well, Dr. Bramwell, I know your story. I know why, but I think give the people what they want. Why did you become a doctor?
So growing up, I was a mature child, right? So, and I have a younger sister, And so I've always been taking care of children. So I wanted to be a pediatrician from the time I was 8. My mother was actually a registered nurse. So I was exposed to the medical field from that way. And I wasn't frightened away. So that was good because she was working some very long hours. And I actually visualized living in New York. You know, you have a lot of doctors that have their practice in their home. It's like in the basement, or and you see their shingle from outside. Well, that's what I envisioned for myself. However, as I went through medical school and then through residency, it looked different to me, and I liked different things. And so I've functioned as a pediatrician in different sectors in the hospital, outpatient, all kinds of things, urgent care. And then somewhere along the line, I found some interest in having my own business. And so, 12 years ago, I ventured out on my own to do wellness, to do weight management. And I was so excited about that because that turned out to be happy medicine for me. Because people voluntarily come to you rather than having to come to you each time. And so,
Yeah.
this journey here now brings that totally full circle for me.
Right. So you ladies, we're 18 years in, 30 years in, over 30 years in. And we want to thank you for your willingness to want to serve, the masses of people, because you had to study quite a bit just to get the degree to be able to help people. And I know that, at the foundation of the reason as to why you even went to the medical field was to help people, was to serve. And I don't know if once you entered into the industry, right, to the business of medicine, because I noticed that there's a business to medicine and a business to pharmaceuticals. Do you feel like you were able to be who you were called to be in the medical field? Am I saying this right? Okay. So maybe you can answer that way, and it'll lead us to where we're going. I don't know who wants to take a stab at that first. And like I said, we're grateful for all that you all have done to this place that we're at now. Because before doctors going to a doctor's office, there were the huts that you went to for herbs, and and we were home medicating, and there was an auntie or a grandmom or someone in the community that was, and then there were medical professionals who started to go to school. And so that's why I'm asking, like, now that, once you got there, was it what you thought it would be?
I'll answer first.
Okay.
No. For a while it seemed that way. But when I started working in the hospital and then in outpatient, and realizing, first of all, I couldn't spend as long as I wanted to with my patient. And you couldn't really do what you wanted to do. I started finding out about natural, supplements and different things. And I couldn't even introduce them into taking care of my patients, even though I knew that it would help them, because I was in that industry where, first of all, you had to have permission for any of that. And then it was seen as over influence and over authority. So then you were influencing the residents and the medical students in a way that they didn't want you to. And so that was very disheartening, to be able to actually have something that would help patients and then not be able to share it. Very, very limiting, and certainly stole my spirit of being a doctor. And certainly that was a big push for me to go out on my own and then be a holistic naturopathic doctor that could help people get well, but in a natural way, without introducing medication, and actually helping people get off of medication. So,
Wow.
certainly.
Wow. And what about you, Janet? You are now seeking to make sure you find the root cause of people's problems. Because I remember, even for me, you go to the doctor, you're in there for all of maybe 10 minutes. If you get that much time, you wait longer than you get seen. And so what do you feel is that maybe why you branched off on your own, because you needed a better or a more productive environment to be able to really get to the root cause of what people needed? Or
Yes, I had a very similar journey to Dr. Bramwell. I was working in the hospital and my father got sick with cancer. And when I started doing research for him, a whole new world opened up, and we were able to help him through natural treatments that did require a medical degree for his health. But in that journey, I was still working in the hospital and finding myself trying to educate my patients that the medications that they were on really could be prevented. They didn't have to be on some of those things. And as a nurse, you can't tell people, hey, try this instead of this drug. And so I really found myself in a bind because I felt like I was preventing them from learning the things that could really and truly help them. And I left the hospital and found an integrative physician. And that's where I have been ever since, working under a medical doctor who shares the same goals and interests that I do to help patients in a natural way. And yeah, and so very similar journey.
Wow. Wow. Thank you. So, Dr. Dunn, how are you feeling about this? What you same?
So yeah, at first it was okay. But as an optometrist, I have a different perspective because I'm not seeing everyone on a whole wellness aspect. However, when you start to see a lot of ophthalmic medications go over the counter because now they're less effective because ingredients are changing, and then they're coming out with stronger things, which are higher copays, but the insurance it gets political, and I don't want to get into all of that. But again, I don't know about you guys, but even though I'm just an optometrist to them, they still come in telling me back pains. They're telling me different things going on, even if it's with their elderly parents or maybe their kids.
Right.
So it gets to a point of there's a lot of things when I got into the health and wellness space of different products that I was brought to my attention that I could recommend, but that's like solicitation, like you can't do that. So it's sometimes I have to get around it and be like, okay, exam is over, Dr. Dunn is gone, almost go outside, come back in and say Tamara's here now, just to give them a different perspective of what else they could be doing, because what they were doing was not working. So you're kind of like in a tight spot that you can't really help them in a way, that you can help them when all I want to do is help them in the first place.
So that brings us to these little patches, and everybody's here. They're waiting for you all to say what we're going to say about Superpatch. Is Superpatch a scam? And I want to take people back to early March, end of February. I got a video that was 25 minutes long, and I will tell y'all that never been diagnosed with ADHD or ADD or anything like that, but I believe I got a tinge of something that don't want to watch a 25-minute video. Because it's not like it was a movie or anything like that. And I was sitting there like, am I really going to watch this 25-minute video? And then it always depends on the presenters as well, right? Because I mean, a good presenter, I'm going to watch a 25-minute video, but it was just, I don't know. I didn't want to watch it. And I remember sending that video to Dr. Dunn and Dr. Bramwell. And Dr. Dunn felt like I did at first. I don't want to hear about it. Let me send it to my husband, who is also in the medical field. But I sent that video to Dr. Bramwell, and Dr. Bramwell watched the video and called me. Dr. Bramwell, why did you feel the need to pick the phone up to call me about that Superpatch video that was 25 minutes long?
Because I saw the science in it. I saw that that's how things work. And I was amazed that the connection had been made. You look and you read different things, and I hadn't, even though you kind of know that it has to be there, you don't see anything really showing that. And that for it to be shown and obvious, I knew that it had to work because that's how our bodies work. That's how our brains work. There has to be a connection. There is a connection, a flow of connection. And so that just clicked to me right away. And I was so excited about it because I was like, I don't care if it's the beginning. I want to know what this can do to help, and we don't have any ingredients and no medicine. Show me how I can do that.
Right,
That's exactly what I
right.
can do. Show me how I can do that.
Right. You were super excited. I didn't want to watch the video. My husband, I passed it off like Dr. Dunn to my husband, who normally is not the one who leads this type of thought process. He's not the one who says, let's do that business, Nina. He looked at the video and said, I'm intrigued. I think you might want to take a look at this video. And the same thing happened with Dr. Dunn. She shared it with her husband, and he was like, now, wait a minute. I'm intrigued by this. So, Dr. Dunn, is that what made you really like say, well, maybe I need to look at the video, or what, how did that play out for you? Because I know I didn't want to watch it.
Yeah, so, Ray is the same. He's like, whatever you do, I support you.
Right.
I know that you're not going to get into nothing that's, you've got integrity, you've got character. You're going to make sure everything is good. You want to give people the best. But when he said, now, I don't know, you might want to look at it. This seems interesting. So I said, okay, I'll look at it. And honestly, I was like, well, I need some.
You said
I need them right now because I need to try it out. And I know Dr. Bramwell is like all into the science. Like, I know science, but I'm not sciencey. I'm very emotional. I was picturing how people could feel when they started to use it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was picturing. I'm more an emotional doctor. As you know, I've been crying since March. So
yeah, I feel like I'm all cried out. I think I'm almost all cried out until the next time I go patch somebody, and then I'm not cried out again. And so, Janet, you saw a TikTok video. You saw Dolores on TikTok, and what made you like? What was it that drew you to this patch from TikTok? You're unmuted, Janet. You got to unmute yourself. Okay.
Sorry about that. Okay. I'm so excited. I couldn't wait to push that button. So I was very intrigued by the 93-year-old who seemed to be infirm and was trying to ambulate around a small living room with a lot of difficulty. And they put a Liberty patch on her, sat her back down again, and got her back up. And I was so impressed by her ability to move that quickly. So I immediately did a deep dive into as much research as I could find. I was looking on YouTube, trying to grab videos. And the video that made the most impression on me was the one with one of the medical directors on the board for Superpatch. And she had been wearing a continuous glucose monitor and noticed that whenever the office phone rang, she had an increase or spike in her blood sugar. And I thought immediately, man, if I had one of those on, that's exactly how I would feel, that my blood sugar was spiking, my cortisol was going up. And then she talked about how when she put the peace patch on, that she noticed that everything was even, that blood sugar stayed level. She didn't have cortisol spikes. And I think that video was an hour long, Nina.
It was. Now, wait a minute. When I saw that was an hour, I said, oh, doggone it. But I was so intrigued by that. Well, I mean, I'm all in now, right? But I saw that it was an hour, and I'm not going to tell a lie. At first, I said, that's an hour long. But it was so intriguing, especially when she just kept talking about the fact that, her blood sugars are stable. And I kept thinking now about every single person. Well, number one, that it was Dr. Toker. That was number one, right? That in itself gives a lot of validity, right? And then because she was doing it on herself. So now it's like, I'm not just trying to do this to somebody else, but I trust this enough to do this for myself. And I knew one of the things that Dr. Bramwell will be very excited about in the very beginning was that the entire board of directors were all doctors.
Yes, I was so impressed with that. So I was, And you can ask my daughter. I happened to be staying at her house that weekend, so I had a good bit of free time because I wasn't going into the office. And I was, hey, watch this. I need you to take a look at this. And she's also in the medical field. And she was like, Mom, enough. But, you know, I couldn't get enough of the videos. I couldn't stop sharing it. I was so excited, but I didn't have any patches. And I knew I had to have those patches. And Dr. Dunn knows how excited I was. And she hopped on the call as quick as she could to help me navigate. And I think she's done a great job in getting me in the right place.
Right. Right. So ladies, I think we need to address the elephant in the room. You know, we post a lot of videos. I know I post a lot of videos, and I get a lot of people who put some pretty nasty comments on the videos. Oh, this is BS. Oh, this is a scam. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You're lying to people. You're frauding people. And I don't really care that people have negative things to say, because the world and the people that are in the world are not all nice people. And I also feel sad for people who take a lot of their time out to even type the nonsense that they type in the comments. So, I mean, thank you for pushing it in the algorithm for me and for us. However, I am a woman of character and integrity, and I would never, I've walked away from companies that changed their ingredients. I've walked away from companies when I just realized that the products were just not up to par to my standards. So I'm going to say that because I'm trying to be nice. And I've walked away from companies where I felt products were just way overpriced, where the price of the products didn't really match the comp plan. And honestly, I'm really, really grateful at this point now, because I'm just kind of overwhelmed and sick of the me too. You know, like, I get a coffee, you get a coffee, I get a tea, you get a tea, I get a vitamin, you get a vitamin, I get makeup, you get makeup. I can go to CVS, Walgreens, Ulta, all of those things. I get money back, and I get money on my credit card. Like, there's ways to get paid for all of that. I don't need that. I was so overwhelmed with the industry and people just fighting for attention. So when the patches were introduced to me, the one thing I thought about with these patches is that we're in a lane all by ourselves. Like, this is a lane all by itself. It's not crowded. It's not crowded because we're in a lane. Dr. Sherelle is with us, right? But we're in a lane all by ourselves. So that excited me. But also, what also excites me about this is the convenience of what we have. You know, the fact that in every country, and because I've been in companies with multiple different products, and what ends up happening is, because of the regulations of different countries, the product has to change because different countries have different regulations. So you can't even get certain products into a country if it has a certain ingredient in it. And then when you think about it, and all the people that are like, oh, well, I'm allergic to mushroom. Well, I'm allergic to this. Well, I'm allergic to that. And I'm allergic to that. And you've got to now go through and comb through to see it. Now I don't have to do any of that because this has no ingredients whatsoever. I'm excited because of multiple things, but I think we need to address the elephant in the room is Superpatch A Scam. But before we go there, Dr. Sherelle just joined us, Dr. Lawrence. And so we want to make sure that she gets to say hello to everybody and introduce herself. Dr. Lawrence, you know what? Can you turn your phone sideways? Because if you do, we'll be able to see you full screen. Yep, flip your phone sideways and unlock your screen. Unlock the, like, if you're on an iPhone, if you bring your drop down and then unlock the screen. So turn your phone back up. Let's turn you back up. Drop down. If your iPhone, drop down. And then there's a little like it looks like a lock, and it locks the screen. If you unlock it, then you'll be able to turn your phone to the side. And
I just did it.
It should flip around. No, it should flip. Yours didn't flip yet.
It's not flipping.
Okay. All right. Well, that's all right. We could hear you. We could hear you pretty good. Let everybody know. Nope. Turn it back around because now you're sideways. You're sideways, not flipping. Let everybody know who you are, where you're from, and we'll catch up. We'll catch everybody up with you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Lawrence. I'm actually from New York, but originally from Florida. I recently moved back to Florida. I've been back maybe a year now. I'm a clinical pharmacist, PharmD, for the past 22 years. I've been in practice in multiple settings, and I'm just on board. I'm a single parent of two boys, so I was interested in making extra money, just plain and simple. They want to spend money they think I have, so I needed an extra stream of income, and then I met
Justin.
Mr. Justin Jones. He introduced me to Superpatch, and at first I was a little skeptical. I'm not gonna like sugarcoat it. As a clinical pharmacist, we have analytical minds, and we have to prove everything, and we have to make sure that it's valid, because we are one of the trusted professions of the medical field. And so if I'm going to endorse something, I had to try it for myself. So I tried it for about a month on myself because I wasn't sleeping after the move. And I was only getting maybe 3 hours of sleep per my watch. And I was just waking up, not able to fall asleep. Tried peace and started sleeping 7 hours,
Mhm.
7, 8 hours now, strong. Best sleep I've gotten since I moved back. So I am a advocate of the patches, and even I tried them on my mother. She had to retire early because of pain in her legs, and they wanted to do surgery. Gave her a freedom patch. She is fine. She's in her garden every day. She's planning a trip to New York with my father. I'm like, you think you can do all that walking? She was like, I'm fine. I have my patches. And I'm like, okay. All
Okay.
right. So, and just like any other medication that you try for any type of symptoms, like most on average, people try 2 or 3 times, and it takes maybe a year for the physician to even get them on a therapy that works for them. So, Super Patch is an answer to that. Like we've seen people get, relief of symptoms automatically, immediately, without that trial and error that we see in the medical profession. So
Mhm.
I'm an advocate of it. I'm telling everybody I know, and I do let them know it's not for everybody, but try it. You know, and there's so many patches to try. So I know there's one for somebody, everybody.
There is one for somebody. I'm glad you said it. And let me say this: I am not a doctor, so I'm going to let you all weigh in on this, and I'm going to address one of the comments, and I'm going to address it. And I am not attacking you. I just we have to address it. Joanna Renee says, or Joanna Reen. I don't know if it's Renee or Reen, but I think it's Renee. I only tried with one person. Well, you only try with one person. That's number one. The one and only person that had pain in their back, I gave him 2 patches and he told me it didn't work. We're going to address this. Is there a percentage of people that it doesn't work for? And I just happened to hit on the one. It discouraged me a bit. Well, there are people that have been on medicines for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years, and they still have high blood pressure. And the medical profession is not discouraged because they are still on high blood pressure meds. And I want to also say that you gave him 2 patches that may not have been enough. When it comes to pain is such an intricate thing. And I may not be a doctor, but I am a specialist in these patches. I've probably patched over 200 or more people, physically patched them. And that's not to mention the almost 700 customers that I have, like on paper, on file. And so, and business partners. But we could never allow ourselves to get discouraged because of one person. The one person may have required what we suggest for pain is we actually suggest a series of patches. We suggest that they use these 3 patches. And if they don't use Liberty, we will suggest that they use Victory. We never suggest the one patch. Never. And so if he only used it 2 times, or if he only used it 1 time, that's just not enough. Especially when the back of the pack tells you that they should wear the patch for at least 14 days. Now, our CEO, and I'm gonna let the doctors weigh in. Because they waiting to get in. They're like double Dutch, okay? They're waiting to get in. I can see Dr. Bramwell like, let me in. Put me in a ring, coach. Put me in a ring. Put me in a ring. Okay. I want you to also know this. Our CEO did say 5% of humanity, right? 5% of people, the patches may not work for them. 5%. But 95% is a big number, but you just can't quit after 2 patches. So I know that Dr. Bramwell looks like she's ready, roaring to go. I'm gonna let, I'll probably patch 500, probably Justin. I'm gonna let Dr. Bramwell start to address this one first. Dr. Bramwell.
Okay. Where do I even start? So I think that your point that people have been on medications for decades and still have the issue, still have the problem, some of them not even under control, even on multiple medications for the same issue,
Right.
and have moved around, yes, trial and error. I The patches are communicating with your brain. Now, a lot of things have happened in your brain over time, and your brain is different from mine, and Renee's brain is different from the one person that she tried the patches on, and so on and so forth. And I don't say that to, ridicule or anything.
Right.
The point is there's so many different factors. So you hear in the medical field multifactorial, multifactorial. Well, that's because that's true. So pain is related to many things. It's not just related to the pain. It's related to how people cope with the pain. It's related to situations that occurred that may have caused the pain, or that the pain worsens around or gets better around. It's related to your emotional factor, your psychological factor, your stress factor, um, your sleep factor. So all of these things are encompassed in pain, and I'm just using pain as an example since we started there, right? And so the patches now are addressing what we talked about, the root cause, like where is it coming from? How is it registering from the brain? And so with the brain, and how's the brain instructing the body, and how's the body compensated over this time? We don't even know how long that gentleman had the pain, or that person had the pain, and what's associated with it. So many things are tied in. The cool thing is why we recommend different patches to be used at the same time with the pain patch is to address all of those issues at the same time and let it integrate in the brain where everything is integrated, but it's off balance. And now we're creating balance. So we got to give time for where balance has been, um, removed. Now we're trying to get it back. We need to give it time for the brain to adjust to that. But it has been proven in Superpatch and even other things where doctors actually do PET scans and what have you, that no matter how old you are or how young you are, your brain has plasticity and it can change. It can improve depending on what you're doing with it. How about you do something that doesn't even take any effort except to peel and stick? And I'll peel and stick 3, 4, 5, 8, 12. If that's going to make me better, right? Make me better and not have to take medication that has side effects. And the higher the doses you go and the more medications you're on, the worse the side effects and the more likely the side effects and the longer they'll stay. And they may even cause things that cannot be repaired. So I don't know. And again, I'm not scolding anybody, but I want everyone to understand that yes, you have to give it time. And as Coach Nina said, the package says, Jay Dollywall that created them says, at least 14 days to see a difference. So how we do only 2 patches that only lasted maximum 2, maybe 3 days, that doesn't even fit what's recommended. And so if we're used to taking medication that it says take it 3 times a day, and you got to take it for 10 days before it actually clears the infection or makes this symptom better or whatever the case may be, why wouldn't we do that with something that has no side effects? You can't have a bad result from it. it's only going to help. And say it doesn't, on the percentage that it doesn't do anything, then you're in the same spot and you can go back to the medication. But I wouldn't recommend that. But anyway, so that's my stance on that. But give it time, just like you gave it time for whatever else, or that it took time for that issue to occur or get worse. Then you must allow the body its time to heal and to do what it knows how to do. And these patches are actually helping your brain to decode that issue so that it can make it better. And I think it's just so simple that people don't believe that it's true.
Yeah.
It's just too easy. And we're used to working hard and not getting results and not getting better so much that it's going to take a minute for people to undo that thought process. But we got a patch for that.
We got to pay for that too, right? Now, here's the thing, because that's a fantastic answer. Even your antibiotics, you're on them for 10 to 14 days, and and you could risk, if you don't complete the 14 days of the antibiotics, you could risk having to go through another round of those antibiotics, which I will tell you, I remember when I was taking antibiotics, I would get a yeast infection. So I would have to tell the doctor, before you give me this antibiotic, I know I'm going to get a yeast infection. So make sure you give me this other pill to make sure that is going to combat whatever this antibiotic is going to do for me. Well, we don't have that problem. Literally, we don't have that problem with these patches. And so I just want you, look, Michelle says, I've been using only the patches for the last 90 days. She said, I'm not taking them off for nothing but to replace the old ones, because the best I've felt in over 1 year. And so I would just pray, and I want to encourage you now to not allow someone, the one person you put the patch on that only wore 2 patches, to discourage you. There's a whole world of people, and oftentimes the people that are the closest to us, they actually don't want to support us, and so they may want to be a little negative anyway. I would find a perfect stranger, right? Find someone else, Joanna, to make sure that you don't, is the patch taking away the pain and heal? Oh, doctors, are the patches taking away the pain and healing, or is it cutting the pain signal? For example, pain meds make you not feel the pain. Well, pain meds mask. So which one of you all would love to, or doctors, nurses? I mean, matter of fact, Dr. Lawrence or Dr. Dunn. And
I just want to say something really quick, right quick, because I wrote down some notes. As brand ambassadors, we also have to give clear expectations, realistic expectations, right? So I write down all the people that I patched. So I'm close to 200, right? And in that number, what level of pain are you on? You have to ask that question.
That's what I asked.
And if they're at an 8, 9, 10, okay, so let's try these 3 patches. We call this our pain combo. And let's see if we can at least get you down to a 7 or 6. And then we're going to go from there, right? Because we don't know how long they've been in pain. We don't know what the cause of the pain, even though we know the patches, and this is going to your next question, they help to rewire what's happening in our brain to process that pain, right? We don't know what his wiring is. We don't know his wiring compared to someone else's. So it might take a little longer. But also there's different body types, different wiring. So there's different combinations. And if a person's been in pain a long time, I've been finding, and we're going to go through the patches, but Kick It has been very helpful, because Kick It, and we're going to go into it, it helps break addictive patterns and different behavioral patterns. But the way that we process pain is an addictive pattern. We think of it in a different way. And if we can break that cycle with relieving the inflammation, relieving the pain receptors and blocking that, that's going to help as well. So we just have to keep patching and trying different combinations to see what works for what reasons. And then you'll have a better understanding what to suggest to other people as you go on. That's all. Thank you, Ms. Moore.
That's very, very good. Before we go to Dr. Lawrence, what you said is fantastic. I always ask people what level of pain they're at, because if you have a level 5 and higher, you definitely need more than one patch. Somebody that's at like always at a dull, like just an annoying pain, they might be able to get away with just a freedom patch. But I would rather start you on more and take away than start you on less and risk you not, coming out of the pain, or, y'all understand what I'm saying? I mean, we have people that have worn the patches that were on medications that are no longer on those medications, and they're really no longer in pain either. And so this is not a band-aid like other things are. This is not what that is. And I want to say this before Dr. Lawrence comes up. To any of you, I see a lot of people that are like, I want to order. We want you to order, but we want you to get back to the person that invited you to look at this video. Okay, so if it's Dr. Bramwell, if it's Dr. Dunn, Dr. Lawrence, or Janet Baker, or myself, or someone tagged you to this live, then you want to make sure that you get their link. And everyone that's watching, all of the reps, let's be ethical. Let's be ethical. If the person did not get invited by you, please don't try to take someone else's customer and or client. All right. So I want to say that. I'm going to say that a few times. Make sure you get back to the person that tagged you to this live, right? If you just happen to be here, it's from one of us that shared it, that's on the live. Okay, pick somebody, right? Pick somebody. But that's how you can go ahead and get the patches. You can get back to the person that tagged you to this live if they put your name on this live, because we want to be ethical. We want to operate out of integrity. All right. When it just popped up on your feed, Stephanie, I believe you're my friend. That's why. All right. So Dr. Lawrence, would you like to also address that? And then we'll talk about neuropathy.
Pain is complicated. And if you've been in pain for years and you've been prescribed opiates or any type of NSAID or something like ibuprofen or any type of gabapentin, which is a neuro agent, like your body develops what we call tolerance. So over time, your body is not, it depends on this, not even necessarily that it's actually treating it, but your body depends. That's why when you go back to the doctor, they're increasing the dose. They're increasing the dose because your body is adjusting to that and it's not working. So by using the patches and finding the right number of patches that actually work, you're doing something that's chemical free. Your body's not going to develop a tolerance or addiction. I see this so many times in clinics. I'm helping people wean off of opiates and wean off benzodiazepines because they're harmful. Because when you go, you're keep taking them, and the only thing that works is the doctor goes higher and higher and higher in the dose, and then you have more side effects and more complications, and then your liver is failing and your kidneys are failing because you're going up higher on these doses. I'm sorry, I'm a pharmacist, so I'm getting more into like the pharmacokinetics, but that's how drugs work. And so over time, you're wondering why your kidney function is decreasing or your liver functions, enzymes are elevated because of these medications. So this is a perfect alternative to that, where it's chemical free. There's no drug interactions. We don't have to monitor your kidney. We don't have to monitor your labs, and you're getting results that last. And I just see it so often that people are really addictive. I've had patients really yell and get angry at me because I won't increase a dose because their body now is addicted to the substance. So like even when we're ambassadors, so we should be, assessing their pain and see if it's at a 10 or 7 and help them, not just say stop it totally, but give them a combination that kind of helps, because there's some pain is causing depression and anxiety and other things. So ask them what other symptoms they're having, as far not just the pain, because it could just be, and that's more patches, of course, but we don't have to worry about drug interactions. We don't have to worry about side effects. We don't have to worry about a compromised kidney, so those are all the things that I monitor as a pharmacist when doctors are prescribing. So I feel like patients that have been on meds for years and doctors have almost maxed out at the dose, this is a perfect opportunity for them to try something that is more natural, more holistic, and more, I guess, life-saving and long-term.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So, our patches are not just for pain. And although there are so many people that are in pain, when we look at the numbers, like there's 6 billion people that can't sleep, which is what Dr. Lawrence talked about when she got on this live. She's with Superpatch because she couldn't sleep. She was getting 3 hours of sleep, and we know that she was because we actually saw the picture from her watch. And when she put on, y'all, the peace patch, not even, what's crazy about that is you didn't even put on the REM patch. I don't know, where's my REM? It's probably in my little pocket.
There it is. Dr. Dunn has it.
Okay, there it is. You put on the peace patch.
The piece. Yes.
First. And you don't even wear the REM. You put on
Nope.
the piece. What
I
happened?
sleep fine.
Right. There you go. Y'all heard what she said, right? What, you're like 6 hours in now, right?
6, 7 hours, sometimes 8. Yeah. And I'm dreaming now. I used to never dream. I'm like, oh, I'm actually dreaming. I'm getting the REM phase.
That's crazy to me. Let me grab
I
this
used to
round.
never dream because I didn't
Right.
sleep long enough.
But here's the deal. It's so crazy that you're one of the people who had and peace is one of my favorite. Like, I call this the peace that passes all understanding. And I also feel like this is the missing piece. Y'all get it, right? Peace is the missing piece when it comes to a lot of our things that we blend together, for combinations. I feel that almost everybody needs peace. And I honestly think that the people that think that they don't have any levels of stress or they don't have any levels of anxiety, they lying, because the world we live in today, just the world that we live in today, has us at a different rate. And I know Janet's sitting over there like, yup, has us all at a different rate of anxiety. And it may not be, and I know when we say things like anxiety, people are thinking that I mean that they're like needing a Xanax. That's not what I mean. I just mean that we're not coping.
Right.
We're not coping like we used to cope, because the world is moving so fast. It's not moving. Things are not moving fast as the speed of light. They're now moving at the speed of AI. And AI is like this, where everything is this instant. And so when people are not moving fast anymore, we're kind of looking at people like, what's going on? Because we're now accustomed to getting things like this. A photo shoot. Why would I go do a photo shoot? I can just have AI make me some, it's just kind of like the real touch of the world. It's like we're doing away with that. Well, not we, but I'm just saying the world is doing away with it. So yes, everyone needs the peace patch. When I have people that can't sleep, I actually suggest both of these, the peace and the REM patch. And even our CEO said a person needs to wear the REM patch for 2 to 3 weeks. Give it time, because most of us, I am very high wired. So you take a person like me that is like high wired. I don't care what time I go to sleep. I'm going to wake up early. It doesn't matter. I'm going to wake up early. I want to sleep longer, but I want to wake up early. No. So REM, I can't do it by itself. I need these two. I need the peace to bring me down, so to speak, like, woo, and the REM to give me that third realm of sleep. Dr. Lawrence, if you put a REM patch on, you probably sleep 10 hours.
For days. But just to piggyback on that, so I specialize in mental health. So like when we're giving the antidepressants, we automatically tell you it's going to take 4 to sometimes 8 weeks to reach a maximal effect. So just the same concept, it's going to take time. We should not be it's not going to happen overnight. So 2 weeks, yes, but sometimes it may take longer, just similar to any other agent that your primary care doctor will give you or your psychiatrist will give you. They will tell you it's going to take at least a month for us to come back in a month or 2 or come back in 3 months for lab work. It's the same concept. So I think it's like a paradigm shift in our mind. We have to understand that it's not magic. We're still dealing with the body, and the body is complicated and it has different signals and different neurotransmitters that your body has to adjust to. So I just wanted to throw that in.
Perfect. So let me also throw this out there. We don't claim to cure or mitigate any diseases. So even when people are putting up diseases, and messaging me, I say, well, what are the symptoms? Because we help the symptoms. We do not help diseases. Okay. So when you come to us and you say, hey, I'm bone on bone, I'm going to say, what does that mean? Like, what are your symptoms? Right. Although I know what bone on bone means, we don't cure that. Right. And we don't claim to cure anything, but we can help you with the symptoms of neuropathy. We can help you with the symptoms of menopause. We can help you with the symptoms of. And so, let's talk about the patches. Janet, I would love for you to tell us what your favorite patches are, and talk about the favorite patches. And then we'll kind of bounce around and see which ones we haven't talked about. But we'll start with Janet.
REM is my all-time favorite patch. And I did try it first. So I'm glad that you're talking about sleep, because there's so many perimenopausal women and menopausal women who do not sleep. And I am unfortunately one of them. And I was waking up at 3:00 in the morning. I couldn't wait to get the REM patch in, because 2 to 3 hours of sleep is not enough. I'm an 8-hour girl. Every night I need my 8 hours. And I had every expectation of wearing that patch for 2 weeks solid and being diligent in wearing the patch every night. And the very first night I slept all night. So when I hear people say that, give it time, sometimes you don't have to give it time, and the patches work immediately. But I do stack my patches for some people, because they just need a different balance for the patches to work for them. And I love peace in combination with REM. It just calms everyone down. It shuts your mind down so that you stop wondering and thinking about all of the crazy things that you did throughout the day. Did you say the right thing to somebody? Did you say the wrong thing? How could I have said that differently? Peace just calms the mind and allows you to go to that restful place. And REM puts you right into that dream state. And those two have to be my all-time favorites right now. I'm sure I'm really new with this. I'm sure that more favorites are going to come out, but those two are my favorite right now. And they seem to be helping my clients as well.
Are those the number one sellers in your wellness spa?
Freedom is my number one seller.
Of course.
We're able to stack. And I love your idea, Dr. Dunn, about adding Kick It to it. I think that that's going to be the key to some of our folks that have been on pain medications for years. And I'm going to give that a try. But Freedom is our best seller.
Wow. Yeah. It's one of my best sellers as well. So, all right, Dr. Dunn. Dun, dun, dun. Right?
Well, I got them all laid out, trying to figure out which ones are my favorite.
Talk about three.
Oh goodness. So I'm gonna say peace for sure. And I am one of those people that I thought I was cool. I thought I was calm and collected. I'm not over the top. I'm not antsy. I'm not that type of person. However, when I put this on, I think the second day, and then I was like, I don't really know if it's doing anything. And I didn't have it on that third day. I immediately knew the difference. So I put it right back on. But it just keeps you calm. We parent. I'm a spouse. We got school, we've got sports, we've got house we have to take care of. It's just so many moving parts. We have different businesses, just so much going on in our minds that this just helps you to be calm with it. So it doesn't make me sleepy. It's just I can be productive and not be all over the place, right? So I love my peace. I would have to say focus next. Peace and focus is amazing.
It is.
Imagine being calm and being productive at the same time. That is a type A's dream. Okay, so peace and focus. And then I'm going to go defense. So defend is not something that you're automatically just going to feel, right? Because it helps support your immunity. However, if you're the type of person that deals with allergy, sinus issues, like you're going to see that difference right away. I've got 40-year-old allergies. I've never had allergies till I turned 40. And they run from April and they're still going, right? I think when it stops snowing, I might be okay, but I put this on every day, especially now with football season. I'm outside a lot with the grass. So Defend keeps my allergies at bay. I used to have eye drops like in my purse, in my car, on my dresser, in the bathroom. Wherever I went, I needed to have something. And I don't even know where my drops are anymore. I don't need them anymore. So if I have to choose 3, but if I had to choose a 4th one, I'm going to say Boost too. For your energy levels, it's just clean energy, guys. Like it just gets you through the day. Take it off when it's time to go to bed. But I'm not antsy, jittery. I'm not crashing. It just gets me through the day. So I'm done. Okay.
Let's defend while you're there.
Yes.
Because once I really started to, when we were using the patches and I printed this out big, when it was on my phone, I don't feel like I really paid it a lot of attention. But when I blew this up and I really started to look at the thin patch and it says enhances your blood flow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I use the thin patch every single day because of my allergies as well. And it's very few times that I have to take an allergy capsule now. I used to have to take them twice a day. Now, the only time I really have to take one is if I'm allergic to my dog, y'all, but I love dogs, so don't come for me. I love dogs, and I'm allergic to my dog. So if I play with her, if I'm playing with her and I forget to go run and wash my hands and I accidentally touch my face, then my face is going to be a little itchy. I might need to take my allergy tablet just to get it kind of calmed down so I'm not waiting because I'm itching. My throat starts itching. And so I wear the Defend patch for that and because I wanted to boost my immune. But when I really just started to hone in on the patches and I saw, wait a minute, blood flow. So to my people that have been immobile for some time, just like you're adding Kick It for people who have been on pain meds for a long time, I'm adding Defend for people who have been immobile and they're starting to feel better because if they're not moving, then their blood is not flowing, right? And so I put the Defend patches on their legs. I'll put them on their feet. And so for your question, if you're having that pain on your feet, yes, put the patches on your feet. Put the Freedom on there. Put the Liberty on there. Put the actually for now, I could just read. Matter of fact, Dr. Bramwell, I'm gonna bring you up to talk about your favorite patches, but I think sometimes we need to read the differences from the information we've been given, right? Because we can read this, where the Liberty patch, which is the foundational patch, our CEO's mother was diagnosed in 1983 with MS. And because of that, he wanted to make sure that after 20 years of the doctors basically having no cure for her, right? Other than to say, hey, surgery is the answer or tons of meds were the answers. And he didn't want that for her. So now he tells us it's 17 years and $40 million of research of development of his own money. So I believe that I could, share this with you, that Liberty is the foundational patch. Liberty and Victory, we can do the stability test with. They are very, very similar, but let me explain the differences, okay? Liberty is going to give more strength, more energy, more balance, stability, reduced inflammation, better range of motion, faster recovery, and higher neurological homeostasis, which Dr. Bramwell is going to go over in one sec, okay? Where Victory gives enhanced athletic performance, not to mean that you're in the gym all day. That's not what that means. If you're a preacher, you're moving your body. That's a lot of exerting. If you're preaching, one sermon is like working 8 hours. Okay, no, seriously. Okay, so it could be you're walking. Maybe you're a nurse and you're on your feet. This doesn't just mean that you're in the gym. All right, that's what I want people to understand. Enhanced athletic performance, more power. That's different than what you hear with Liberty. More power, meaning you'll probably lift heavier. You'll probably work out a little bit longer. Okay, more strength, more balance and stability. That is the similarity. Enhanced stamina. That is different than liberty. More agility, different than liberty. Enhanced neural function. That's different with than liberty. We've got reduced inflammation, the same. Better range of motion, the same. Enhanced neuropathy relief and faster recovery. Okay, so faster recovery for someone who is working out or preaching or walking or something like that. Okay, so Dr. Bramwell, but you still need to wear other patches with victory. Like if you are in pain, you cannot just grab victory. You need to also use peace and freedom as well. All right, Dr. Bramwell, the floor is yours.
My favorite. So my favorite is peace. Um, and it's because it does so much more than just calm you down. Certainly, it can help with stress. Certainly, in my realm, with helping people with their weight and what have you, and stress eating. I mean, pretty much 95, 99% of the people say that they have stress eating, right? And it could be for any emotion or all of them. And so that along with kick it. But I love the piece because just as Dr. Dunn, I am not one of those excitable people. I am just not. I don't live on 100. Not obviously. Although, if you saw what I do behind the scenes, you would know that I lived on 100 in that way. So, but that being said, I am an overachiever. And so my nerves are still firing off, whether I show it to you or not, whether I think that I feel it or not. And so, just like Dr. Dunn, when I used the peace patch, because at first I said, what do I need that for? Like, I'm chill. I'm like majorly chill, reserved. And I put that thing on. I That is the first one I put on every day, because and some days I use two because it's just that kind of day. But I think that it helps me. I think that, if I'm thinking that my heart rate is up or whatever, I'm going to that's probably the day that I put on two. And that's probably somebody trying to push my buttons a little bit. And again, it doesn't show on the outside. They'll never know it. But that helps me so that I keep my body in balance. I love the piece. And I think that it pairs or triples with any one of the patches to help you get a maximal effect because it's chilling out those nerves that are overfiring. I guarantee you, if you have cortisol effect on your body, you've got, you have extra weight. I guarantee you're stressed. If you've got a chronic illness, I guarantee you have stress. You know, different kind of stress. You may not sense it as that, but it is stress on your body,
Mm-hmm.
and it is unseen stress that is occurring that has you out of balance. And so that peace patch, I'm putting it with everything. I talk about that one all the time. The Fend is another one. I never thought that anything would work on the allergies. Okay, as I've gotten older, the allergies are crazy. I took Zyrtec. I had to take Zyrtec every day. Every day. If I missed 3 days in a row of Zyrtec, I'm congested, I'm messed up, I'm feeling tired, I'm feeling exhausted. So that's the other thing. You can feel tired and stuff from other things that are happening with your body. With the Defend patch, no allergy symptoms. I'm not even at one time. I just recently I said, "Man, my speech is like nasally. Like, when did I get that? I don't even understand that. I'm not supposed to have nasally speech. If you hear me, I don't sound that way anymore. But a couple of months ago, I actually still did, and I was like, this is not me. I don't like that. I don't. I'm not taking the Zyrtec. I haven't had Zyrtec for, I don't know, a month and a half, almost 2 months. And I'm not walking around congested. I'm not waking up congested. I'm not trying to clear my throat all the time. All of
Right.
that. And that is annoying and it's actually distracting. And just so that you know, for children that have allergies, please don't put the Defend patch on them. When I all I had to choose from was medicines, I would tell parents to treat their children because you're making them suffer. And actually, kids with allergies actually have decreased IQ because their attention is interrupted in classes. and the kids would tell the truth, and the parents would. I said, "Are you rubbing your nose or coughing in class?" And the parents would say no, and the kid is nodding yes. So they are suffering, and you don't even know it. They're suffering in silence. Put that defend patch on them, and that way you don't have to. I know you don't want to give them medicine. Here, you have an option. I didn't have this option when I was functioning as a pediatrician. I'm so glad that it's here now. And then my third one is Boost. So let me tell you my experience with the Boost. I tried the Boost really when a couple months ago, I was driving up and down the highway. I drove for like 12 hours. I think I went to Baltimore. First I went to
Yeah,
Baltimore.
you did.
Then I ended up going to Delaware, and then I drove back to Indiana with my friend Bridget, and I was wearing the Boost patch, and it was crazy. Now I'm a driver, and I love to drive, but the amount of hours that I could drive in a row without feeling like my butt wasn't hurting. Like that was a common thing. Like I would have to get up because my butt just hurt. It just was in pain from sitting for so long. And I didn't have any of that. I didn't have any discomfort. And that to me spoke volumes. Because definitely you like driving, but once you get into the trip and it's so long and you're trying to get somewhere, sooner or later you're like, are we there yet? and so that really, really helped me. So those are my three, and that's my husband's. One of his favorites is actually the Boost patch, and so he's the biggest skeptic. Don't tell anybody. Biggest skeptic, and that Boost patch, that's one of his favorites, and the pain one. That we broke the skepticism with those two patches. So
I love it. I love it. So, there are so many things that we could say about the patches. Rocket, for sexual enhancement. And men and women can wear that patch. That is a patch that you do have to give it a little time, right? That is not that instantaneous kind of thing. And, if you're saying, well, I see you guys doing the stability test and it's working instantly. Well, because we know that liberty and victory, when we do the stability test, is an instant gratification patch. Peace works pretty instantly as well. Actually, y'all, defend works very instantly for me too. I didn't have to wait for defend to work a long time for me. I noticed the difference immediately. Boost is one that took me a little bit to feel. I didn't feel the effects of Boost, and I think it is because I am high energy, right? And if you are already high energy, Boost is something that it took me a little bit to feel. Joy, y'all, I haven't had a need for joy. I am literally one of those people. I am so optimistic that I have not had the need for joy, but I have a lot of clients who have the need for the joy patch. All right. Lumi, I have that on. It's right here. I wear it. I always like to wear it like somewhere up here on my chest or something like that. I don't know. I feel like it's because it's closer to my skin, my face. And I'm going to tell you all that even Paige was having the preteen acne, and all of her acne is gone. Lumi patch. Okay. And I know people see me and they're like, Nina, you aging backwards, right? Every time they see me, they feel like I'm getting younger and younger and younger and younger. Another one of my favorites, y'all, has to be the Ignite patch. Because you can burn, if you are looking to speed your metabolism, or you're looking to, because this is not weight loss, but it is a metabolism kit. Okay. This is going to burn up to 500 calories wearing the doggone Ignite patch. When you wear it with Kick It, you heard Dr. Bramwell say the bad habits, the cravings. And actually, this actually says overcoming bad habits, fighting cravings, right? While Ignite is going to enhance your resting metabolic rate and burning more calories at rest. But of course, what do you have to add to that combo? The peace patch, because a lot of people eat emotional eating. And this is going to help you with emotional eating, the peace patch. All right. So I want you to know that I was having hot flashes. I have already gone through the change of life I went through in my 40s, but I still have symptoms every now and again, right? Meaning I am on the other side of my month. I don't have a monthly visitor. Okay. I've been on the other side of that for a long time now, but I still get the symptoms. and I was at an event, and I get very nervous when I'm gonna get a hot flash, because the hot flash usually has me soaked and wet. I don't know if any of you have experienced that before, but it is not pretty. So I was at an event. The event was getting ready to start, and I felt the raging happening on the inside of me, and I got very nervous because I had on bright green pants. If the full-blown hot flash would have happened, Dr. Bramwell, my pants would have looked like I wet myself, and I didn't have a change of clothes. I was way too far from home, and I'm nervous now. What do? I went in my little bag. I call it my bag of tricks, and I grabbed a peace patch and an ignite patch, and I stuck them right here. And all I could tell you is, in moments, the hot flash, the heat went away. And I was just so glad. I was sitting there just like almost gonna have like an anxiety attack, because I could not imagine, had I had that full blown, I would have looked crazy and I would have wanted to go home. And I ended up helping a lot of people that night. And so that, and like I said, I can't say, I'm just telling you I had a hot flash, and that these two patches helped ignite and also peace. We have heard also that if you're going through that phase of life, ladies, that you may need the rocket patch as well. Rocket, ignite, and peace will be your friend. We talked about the focus. We talked about all of the other patches now. And we're going to mention flow. Flow will be back on the market. Flow is for memory and cognitive balance. So if you forget stuff, like what your name is, you're going to need this when this hits the market. For now, you use the focus patch. All right. And we like to pair focus with peace. So if you're very forgetful, if you look at this sheet, it says the focus patch is for enhanced focus and attention, clarity, and will enhance your memory. Okay. I like to wear these together. All right. And I put these on Paige so that she can wear them together like this as well. Like I said, flow is not available right now. Only if somebody happens to have one stuck somewhere in a bag, until they are back on the market. We covered all of the patches. Listen, get back to the person that invited you here. And we wanted you all to know that Superpatch is not a scam. Okay. But we've been sold a dream, and now you're going to dream a different kind of dream. Okay. We want you to dream some sweet dreams now. And we actually really want people to live a quality of life. We want to help restore dignity back and independence. And so, ladies, you can go ahead and give them a closing statement as to, why Superpatch is not a scam. And then we want to make sure that everybody's getting back to the person that invited you here. This is actually in our boards app. So if you are a part of the team, you did get a link to the Linktree link, and the Linktree link will lead you to the boards app. This is in the boards app. You guys got to go through there. There's so much great information. Let's start with Janet, and then we'll go over to Dr. Lawrence, then we'll go up to Dr. Dunn, and then we'll close out with Dr. Bramwell.
The patches are definitely not a scam. I have patched so many people in the last month and a half that I've been involved with this. And all of these folks who have purchased retail are coming back to us wanting to know how they can get more. They've been patching all of their friends with all of their packs of patches, and they are running out in their short supply. And so they're signing up now. So this is definitely not a scam. I have done my due diligence in making sure that the technology is valid and real. And I would not have promoted this to my clients if there was not real science behind this. So you can rest assured that the science is real, and use these patches over medications.
You heard what she said. And let me say this before Dr. Lawrence comes up. Do you believe that these ladies would risk their licenses if they thought that Superpatch was a scam. I mean, we've got NFL, I didn't even put up the slides. I didn't even really need to, but we've got NFL players, NBA players, wrestlers, golfers, MMA, baseball. Like, are we serious right now? All right, Dr. Lawrence, I'm gonna go on a soapbox. Go ahead, Dr. Lawrence. Like, I just, anyway.
Superpatch is not a scam. I am so convinced. Like I said, I was a skeptic, but I read everything. So I went through all the clinical studies. I looked at the confidence intervals. I looked at all of that because I'm a nerd like that. And then I tested it on myself and my children first. So and I've seen the results in my children. And certain things you can't give pediatrics, as Dr. Bramwell was saying in her practice. And so just to piggyback on the Finn, my son has terrible allergies. He's allergic to everything: grass, trees, pollen, dust, and he hasn't had his medicine in, I would say, almost 3 months now. So it's not a scam. I see it in my own household. So it's worth the time, it's worth the energy, and it's getting people, like Coach Nina said, it's getting people their life back. And as a health professional, that's what we want to see. We're passionate about quality of life. We're not passionate about pushing pills or pushing more things on you to make your life more miserable. We want to see you happy. We want to see you enjoy your life. So, um, I stand by it, my license and all.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just putting this up here on the screen because we didn't go through the slides, and someone just asked, why is this? I think the question was, why is it technology? So I wanted to just make sure that while you ladies are talking, that they can begin to understand that it's neurotechnology. It's actually called VTT technology, vibro tactile technology, and each patch has a different print on them, just like your fingerprints are different. And I'm going to let Dr. Bramwell, when she close out, kind of give you a little bit more. I mean, I could tell you, but you're going to believe it because she's the doctor. So Dr. Dunn, why is Superpatch not a scam? And then Dr. Bramwell, when you close out, if you would talk a little bit more about the technology and the science behind why this is technology. Go ahead.
When we see things, we can't unsee them. And when we're seeing people that's been in wheelchairs for 4 or 5 years and all of a sudden they don't need wheelchairs anymore, but you at the same time keep going to the doctor every 6 months. And like Dr. Lawrence was saying, getting your prescription increased because it's not working. You got to outweigh like what's really the scam, right? And it's hard for us to believe. And like Dr. Branwell said, it's so simple that we don't believe it. But we didn't believe when cars was going to take over the horse rides, right? We didn't believe trains. We didn't believe computers. We definitely didn't believe cell phones, right? So we have to think that the world is changing and we have to change with it, or you can continue to not feel good. So the future of wellness is right now. And you have a chance to be a part of it right now and share it with the world.
Period. Dr. Bramwell, I'm going to leave this here because this does explain the VTT technology. And then you can close us out.
Yes. So certainly this makes it obvious, but we have programs in our brain that are running what these patches are doing. So the technology is how this is being delivered, how we're getting this message. And then the neural part is how it functions in our body, going from our nerve, from the touch of your skin. Your nerve endings are at your skin level. So those are the most sensitive. That's why a paper cut hurts so bad, right? And so you can imagine that that's how sensitive your nerves are on the skin. And now that's going to communicate, the nerves communicating within the nerves and then to the brain. The brain governs everything about your body, whether you know it's happening or not, right? And so that's what's happening. You're putting on this patch, that code is being translated to your brain, and your brain is decoding that and telling your body to correct the issue that is associated with the code. The code is like a fingerprint. So it's individual, it's associated with that issue. And that's why it's so particular. So you may look at it and think that it looks the same, just like how we look at our fingerprint and we say, that looks the same as the other finger, but it's actually not once you get your fingerprints taken, right? So this is very, very important. You don't have to understand the science, but do know that there's clear science that Jay Dollywall has made sure that we have done studies that stand up to scrutiny and up to the rigorous way that studies should be done in double blinded, which are the best types of studies because the control group and the treatment group don't know what they're getting. And so they're going to report what's true. And then the parameters that we measure are going to be true. And certainly we have the studies, 10 years of studies. We just got some new ones that I got all excited. And so, yes, Dr. Lawrence, I am a nerd in that way as well. I look at those p values and the significance and what have you. And you all do not need to know that because trust me, we are looking at that. The doctors are looking at that. We already know it. The nurse is looking at it. She got the doctor with her, in her practice. And so, hey, just stop feeling bad. Stop wanting to have to go on another medicine. Stop being upset about it. And I'm not saying don't work with your doctor on it, but work with your doctor. We have many people that are weaning off of their medicines as they're using the patches, and doctors are more and more, you're their exposure. You know about it. Maybe they don't know about it. Take it to them because they don't know about it. We live in the world that was created for us as medical professionals. And for a long time, we didn't know that there were other things to choose from, other solutions. This is a solution to not adding medicine, not increasing medicine, and actually helping you to get better. So I can't say it any clearer than that. Definitely get back with who invited you to this or who tagged you on this because you need this. Everybody needs these patches. You just don't know it yet, but go find out some more information. Thanks for having me.
Perfect. Janet, we need you to answer the question. Jacqueline McKenzie wants your link because I told them if they weren't invited by anybody specific, they could shop with whomever they wanted to. And Janet Baker, she can't find you on social media. I think it's your business. I know that if someone is running your other page, can they comment on her?
Yes, I reached out to her to comment to Jacqueline and sent her our link. So
perfect. Well, I'm so glad we had this time together.
Thank
and
you.
as I was
Thank you so much.
sitting here this morning, it was like the Holy Spirit was like, get your doctors on alive tonight, and I was reading through the nasty comments of people. This is a scam and this is BS and you're fraud and all of the nasty things that people that are living in ignorance like to say, because that's really all it is they're living in ignorance. They just don't know. And as I was sitting there, I said, I really need to get our doctors to weigh in on this one. And so I'm glad that even with such short notice that you ladies were available. And I believe that we served the public tonight to really give them education and have a conversation that's not a business presentation. It was literally just a conversation to help debunk the myths that, people are walking around, Superpatch A Scam and it didn't work for me. And, I want you all to know that, like I said, and like we've said, yes, Flora, I thought I did already. We want you to know that some things you just got to give it a little time. You got to give it a little time, but other patches are probably going to work really, really fast for you. And you don't know, maybe this won't take forever for you. This may not. This might be one of those things that you'll wake up and you'll say, okay, I feel better. And you don't know, this might not take you long. We don't know. What we want you to do is take some time, right? Get with somebody that can talk you through what each patch does, or just we could send you a sheet. You can look at the sheet, but then we send you what we call a cheat sheet, which shows like how we like to pair the patches together. Just know that we're not going to suggest just one patch for you. That's not what we're going to do. We're going to suggest multiple patches based on what you say your symptoms are so that we can get you feeling better. All right. Now you're going to get 25% off of your very first order. Woo, right. You're going to get 25% off your very first order. So that's a win-win. And what we also love is, once you use the product, do you have to continue? That's going to be different for everybody. Sean Bell doesn't wear his pain patches every day. It's under control now. Okay. And so the cheat sheet is in the Boards app. right? And I'm certain if you join with someone, they're going to give you the cheat sheet. But any customers of ours, we send them the cheat sheet. Not only are you going to get 25% off your first order, which means that you're getting the patches at the same price that we pay as an ambassador, as an associate, but you're also going to get a 30-day money back guarantee. That if you just feel like you fell in the 5%, if you just felt like you fell in the 5% and you really honestly gave it a full 30 days and you wore those patches every single day, be honest, then you're going to contact the company, not us. We don't give you the refund, but our company does. All right. So if you're on the team already, it's in the boards app. And you got to go to the boards app because we always instruct everyone to go to the boards app. All right. So I suffer with nerve pain. I have the Liberty and Victory patch and I am pain free and I take no more medication. I'm happy and I feel good. Boom. That's what she says. That's what, okay. It's right there in writing. All right. And so awesome. Jacqueline McKenzie, I sent you a message. Luz Nagreet sent you a message. So we're going to check our inboxes, y'all. We're going to check our filtered messages, our spam, and everything. And so don't think of this like, oh my gosh, well, you know, how many patches do I have to buy? And no, you're going to get 25% off. And if you need 3, 4, maybe even 5 patches, get them. You can use FlexPay options. You can use FlexPay options to purchase your patches like Klarna, like Zip, like Sezzle. What else, ladies? Klarna, Zip, Sezzle. What else? Affirm
or Afterpay.
Afterpay. You have to have those already set up. You have to have an account already set up. And then what you do is you either use your virtual card or you could even enter our website in your app. Okay. It's just better to go ahead and use your virtual card. You should have a virtual card for all of them, but you can use Afterpay, Klarna, Sezzle, Zip, and you can defer the payments like we do for anything else. All right. So there is a way. If you need more than one patch, don't get upset. We want you to feel good. And we do want to tell you that we're going to suggest, based on what you tell us your symptoms are or what you're dealing with, that you are going to use more than one patch. All right. So thank you, Dr. Bramwell, Dr. Dunn, Dr. Lawrence, and Janet Baker for lending us your time, your talent, your knowledge, your wisdom. Get back to the person that invited you here. And if you don't have someone that invited you and you just kind of, you know, saw this, pick somebody. Pick one of the people, pick one of us that are here, pick one of the people in the comments. But we want to make sure that you get serviced and you get serviced promptly tonight. Let's get those orders in tonight. Ladies, we'll see you later. Good night and God bless you all.